Hey everybody, in today's video we're going to be looking at tide, moon, and sun information on our Casio G-Shock GBX100 watch. I'll first apologize, this is one of the more complicated settings on this watch. I'm going to do my best to kind of show you a high level and then just go show you what it looks like if you want to view this information. Let's first jump into the settings on the watch. If we press the top left button on the watch from our main timekeeping screen, it will take us into our watch settings. Once we get into our settings, we can use either the up button or the down button, and we need to go down to tide, moon, and sun. We're going to press the top right button to go into this setting. The first thing you need to do is you need to define, when I go look at sun, tide, and moon information, what is the location that I'm wanting to see this information for. They give you a few different options here. App would be, if you specified a location using the G-Shock Move app, it's going to use that location. Preset we'll look here in a second. That's kind of your old school. They give you a list of a bunch of different ports. You choose the port you want to see the information for. And then user would be a predefined user setting that you've set up. So I'm going to go into that real quick just to give you a high level. When you go into it, you've got the option for custom and select. Custom basically gives you the option to go customize your user settings. So if I choose custom, it's going to ask me which of the user settings I want to adjust. I could use the up or down button to choose the given user. I'm going to just go into user 1, and then you can adjust these values. For example, if you know the high tide information for the location that you're wanting to view the information for, you can adjust it here. If you know the latitude and longitude values, you can enter them under lat and longitude. If you know the time difference, you can enter that there, and then you can choose whether or not you want daylight savings time on or off for that given location. That's one way to do it. The other way is you could go into the G-Shock Move app, pick your location there, and then simply sync it over and choose which user you want to write it to. That's what I've already done. User 1 I've already defined using the G-Shock Move app, and I simply sent it to the watch and said it's user 1. The thing that's kind of annoying with this is you can't rename these custom ones. So I would like to be able to, instead of it say user 1, it'd be cool if you could name what the location is. Unfortunately, it just says user 1, user 2, user 3, and you kind of have to know which of those you're using or what the location is. If I wanted to choose one of those, instead of going to the custom, to customize it, I would just do select, and I would choose the given user that I want to see the information for. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to choose user 1. So we're going to be seeing the tide, moon, and sun information for the location that I've specified as user 1. I'm going to go ahead and press back a couple times. It's the bottom right button. Get me back to my main timekeeping mode. The bottom right button is going to be the button that gets you into your moon, tide, and sun information. You've got a couple different views in here. This first one is kind of an overview. You've got your current time down here at the bottom. You'll notice it says home, and then it's got my time value and my date value. I've got my sunrise and sunset times up here at the top. So 6:48 this morning was my sunrise, 5:27 this afternoon is my sunset. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see, maybe I can zoom in a little bit for you. You'll notice up top it says user 1 because that's the location that we are viewing the information for. You can see my Bluetooth connection. You can see whether or not I've got notifications. You can also see my moon age and my current moon phase. That's the bottom icon underneath my sunrise and sunset. Then we've got the high tide and low tide information here. The highlighted ones are my current time values, and then up top is going to be what's the next occurrence between high tide and low tide. It looks like I've got a low tide at 1:15 this afternoon. So that's one of the views. If I press the bottom right button, I can toggle to a different view. The second view is more of your tide view. You've got when was high tide, when's my next low tide, and then again, it's my low tide, high tide view. You'll notice there's no sunrise, sunset, there's no moon data on this view, but there's a longer graph as far as the high tide and low tide information. I've still got my current time down here at the bottom. What is cool about this watch is you can stay in any one of these views as long as you want to. So if this is the view you want to always have on your watch, you can stay there and it will not kick you back out. Press the bottom right button again. This screen goes into a little bit less about the tide information and more about your moon sunrise information. So I can see, again, my sunrise was at 6:48, My sunset is at 5:27 this afternoon. Then I've got a little bit bigger moon phase showing. I've got my moon age showing, and I've got my current time showing down here at the bottom. Again, if I want to stay in this screen, I could totally do it. If I press the bottom right button again, it just goes back to the original screen that we looked at. So I did want to show you, just if we use the presets, I want to show you the preset values that they deliver. Let's again press and hold the top left button, go into our settings. I'll back this up a little bit. We're going to go down to Tide and Moon. This time, instead of doing user, we will change it to a preset. Let me see if I can get to the top of the list. There are a lot of them here. So let me go all the way from the top. If you sit on any one of them, it will cycle through and show you the full name of the port and the country. Hopefully you'll know these. I'm not going to sit on every one of them and let you see it, but I did want to at least give you a listing of all of them delivered. Again, these are just delivered from Casio. These are the presets that they give you. But again, you can go into the G-Shock Move app and choose any location you want to. And then again, you've got up to 3 custom locations you can store on the watch, so you can quickly toggle between locations. So that's all of them. I'm just going to choose one of these so you can see what it looks like. So now I've changed my setting from the user setting to whatever port we just picked. And you'll see now it's recalculating all of the values for that given port. Everything's the same, but my location up top here has changed. My sunrise and sunset values have changed. My moon values have changed. My high tide and low tide information has changed for the location that we are now viewing. Pretty simple stuff. I hope that at least gives you a glimpse of how you can use this watch to view moon, tide, and sunrise and sunset information. I hope the video helped.